Hey guys, and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game. Now, I know this game came out quite a long time back, but we're still playing this today because this received an update, and that update was a major update because it brought in 60 FPS frame rate, that is 60 frames per second gameplay, and that makes a huge difference when you actually play this game. And that's why I thought I should actually play this out and also give you a feedback on what are my thoughts on this. Now I've completely gone over this game. I've finished this game, played over 130 to 140 hours. In fact, this is a long game, and I've had so much fun. In fact, in the entire lineup of Assassin's Creed games, if I have to pick my personal favorite, and what sits right at the top of these different Assassin's Creed games, Odyssey would be my choice, simply because of the fact that this game, it feels massive. The sheer scale of what you can do in this game, the storyline, the upgrades that you can have with the weapons, with your armor, etc. They're all just simply brilliant. I mean, it's a fantastic game. So the game starts off with a cutscene. Here you have Leonidas and his faithful 300, you could say, and they're going up against the Babylonians. And the cutscenes are quite a big part of this game because you have loads of them. And you also have them in place because there are dialogue options that you have to choose, which can actually have a massive impact on the way the story plays out. So choose wisely is what I could say when it comes to playing this game. And you see that spirit of Sparta, and they're all charged up to take on the enemies. And it opens up with this very grand scale battle that is happening. And here, for the very first time, after 2 minutes of cutscene, you jump directly into the gameplay. And as you can see, there's hardly a load time here. Now, when you play this game on the previous gen consoles, you do have a serious amount of waiting that you have to do. But when it comes to Series S, what I really love about the Series S is that it negates all that waiting. So you don't have to wait for that long when it comes to waiting for getting into the gameplay, and especially loading screens. Well, it's a thing of the past with your Series X, with your Series S, and also with PS5. So it's because of this SSD that they actually run on. So here you have the gameplay, and there's a grand scheme battle going on. I mean, or a battle of great proportions, you could say. And here you get to try out the 60 FPS for the first time, because generally the cutscenes, I believe the cutscenes are still in 30 FPS if I'm not wrong. At least it feels that way. But the gameplay, for sure, there's a huge difference. I mean, the gameplay with the 60 FPS now, it feels smooth as butter. And to a lot of people, that would make a difference, especially people who appreciate the higher frame rates. And I can tell you for sure, while I played it on my PS4 Pro, that ran at 30 FPS, and now when I'm playing this again on my Series S, I can definitely feel the difference. So it's a big difference when it comes to the gameplay, and you will appreciate it because, like I said, it's buttery smooth. And this game was actually fun when it comes to the gameplay as well. I quite enjoyed, Odyssey. In fact, I liked it the best among all the Assassin's Creed games that I've played. I've played loads of them. I've played the Origins. I've played Valhalla. I have played the Assassin's Creed Unity, and even Assassin's Creed 3 to some extent. Then there was Syndicate. I finished that off as well. So I have played, the older Assassin's Creed games as well, and old and new, out of both of them, this happens to be right at the top because this is my favorite out of all the Assassin's Creed games that I have played. Now, I've still not played 1 and 2, surprisingly, and I've not played the Ezio's, storyline. I have downloaded that as well. Do let me know, in the comment section if you want me to put up a gameplay of that, because I have downloaded that game and I have played it. But again, in terms of the sheer scale of the game, in terms of the world that they have actually built with this game, it just feels big, massive. In fact, when you stand on a cliff, as an example, and when you just take a look at the landscape, you feel that size, you feel that um, that scale of this world that they have built in this game, and that you would appreciate. Even now, when you take a look at this particular scene, and in the background you take a look at those mountains, the clouds, you feel that this is a big game, this is at least a very big world, and all of that is explorable. There's so much that you can do in this game. You can roam around, etc. And here, as far as the fighting goes, it's standard affair. Nothing unusual. If you've already played Origins, if you've already played Valhalla, then you'll feel right at home because the controls are the same. On your Xbox, you have your RB and RT, for light and heavy attacks, and then you can move around, you can dodge, and of course there's some heavy attacks as well, as you can see. So it is fun, it's quite fun. And later on in the game, you will be introduced to shooting arrows as well from your bow, so that element is also there. So there's a bit of shooting. There are various weapon options. Now, although in this particular scene you just are witnessing the spear in action, but trust me, you have a plethora of weapons that will be at your disposal. And each of the weapon types, they come along with its own set of benefits or advantages. So it's interesting, the upgrade options, the upgrade options that you have in this game are fantastic. In fact, till date, I actually prefer the upgrade option when it comes to upgrading your armor and your weapons in Odyssey over Valhalla. So I think Valhalla was kind of a back step for me when it comes to the upgrading. This definitely feels like an evolution over Origins, because they improved the whole way of upgrading your armor, your weapons, your gear, you could say. And again, out of the three latest ones, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, the upgrade option even feels better on this game. Leave aside the way it looks. Although it is older than Valhalla, I believe when it comes to the world, somehow this looks more beautiful. And we'll get to that in the other scenes as well. Well, there are some graphic scenes here, so if you've got kids around, you might want to turn their eyes off, or you may want to ask them to go to some other room while you're playing this game, because it is a violent game. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, and great cutscenes like the one that you're watching right now. Great speeches. So it's quite fun. I really love the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game, and I think you can say that by the way I'm actually talking about this. Now, even when it comes to off Animus world, that means when we talk about Layla, and the character, the way she looks, Layla, the character herself, it looks so much better in this game. I don't know if it's just me, or you also feel the same. In case you feel the same, then do leave me a comment, because I would love to know that I'm not the only one who feels that the character Layla especially looked worse in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, I think the character design is so much better, whether it's Cassandra, whether it's Alexios. Well, Alexios is a little bit weird because his eyes, I think, is a little strange. But Layla is definitely better in Odyssey over Valhalla. I somehow feel that the character modeling and the character design went a step back when it comes to Valhalla. Well, Eivor was great, especially the male Eivor was fantastic, very well designed. The female Eivor, not so much again. I don't think they did a good job with the female version of Eivor in Valhalla. So
as much information as you got.
yeah, you have the screen. This is not exactly a load screen, but it's talking about how you're about to get into the Animus. And here's where you get to make an interesting choice. You can actually toggle between the two characters, Alexios and Cassandra. So you get to choose now which character you are actually going to play with. Now, of course, Cassandra has always been one of my favorite characters in the entire lineup of Assassin's Creed games, and I chose to go along with Cassandra even the second time around, because this is the second time that I'm actually playing this game. And even
Look at
this
all the
time,
prep.
I chose to
Something
go
tells
along
me
with
the game ended
Cassandra.
up
I
circling back
somehow
on that
feel,
escargot
she's
file
a
up
more
first.
fleshed
You're
out
right.
character
We haven't
compared
got
to
much to lose
Alexios.
anyway. There's
She just
just
feels,
one small
a
problem.
great character,
What
someone
is
that you
it?
can
This
connect with.
manuscript is
Her
a ninth
dialogue
edition, to
delivery
say
is
the least.
fantastic.
The
Her
DNA
character
found on the
design
spear
is
has
beautiful.
identified
She's one
two
of the most
different
beautiful
individuals.
female
You're gonna
characters
have to
that you would
pick
get
which
to
strand
see
of
on
DNA
screen on
first.
any of the video
The
games
choice is
around.
yours.
They've just modeled her really well. I mean, just look at her. You would definitely, once you take a look at that character screen, you would definitely want to go along with Cassandra. And it's not just the face, it's not just the way she
I have a
looks,
good feeling
but
about
even the
this. All
dialogue,
right, boss.
the
We're finally
expressions,
good to go.
etc. All of them,
431
I feel,
BCE, here
feel
we
much
come.
more,
The start of
you could say,
Peloponnesian
better
War. Good
when
luck
it
in
comes to
there.
Cassandra
No pressure or
compared to
anything,
Alexios, that
but we're
is.
all depending on you.
And
Abstergo isn't
even
gonna
if I
win this
compare
time.
it to other
If what
characters
the book
like
says is true and we do actually
Evie
find the
or
artifact, the
Jacob from
assassins will
Syndicate,
finally have a chance to rise again.
or
You can do it,
Valhalla, you
oh
have
Victoria.
Eivor. I
Read the book.
believe this is
Holds
a
with secrets I won't be
comparatively
able to
better
find on my own when
character,
I'm in there.
and
Aye, aye,
I
Captain.
just I just love Cassandra. I mean, you see a load screen, and on my PS4 Pro, these screens used to take forever, but here you count five and it's gone. It's over. It's fast. That's the beauty of your Xbox Series S and X. And here you're again seeing a beautiful cutscene. Wow, this game is gorgeous. I mean, just take a look at that statue, look at that world. The mountains, the clouds, the sea in the background, the ships sailing, and the animals, the people. It breathes life into all these various characters, these animals. You feel like you're a part of this world, and the soundtrack is amazing. This opening song here, which leads us to Cassandra. Beautiful soundtrack. I'll let you guys enjoy that. Just look at that. It's beautiful. The lighting in the background. It's gorgeous. Now, this game, by the way, is big. And there you have it. Cassandra, our favorite female character in the Assassin's Creed lineup. And yeah, I was talking about the scale of the game. Well, whether it's the world of the game that you're taking a look at or the size of the game on your Xbox, this is the ultimate version that I had downloaded. And the ultimate version takes up 96.5 GB. That's right, 96.5 GB of your storage. Now that is whopping, because it's got all the season pass games, like the various episodes, like the one in Atlantis, and the one with the, I think is the Secrets of the First Blade. So all the season pass episodes are here. With that, and with a few gear that you get along with the ultimate version or the ultimate edition, it takes a whopping 96.5. Now that is a massive game. Especially, I mean, I'm talking about the size so much because if you are playing on the Series S, you know how much game size actually matters. It only has a little less than 400 GB that you can actually take advantage of when it comes to the internal storage. So you need to be mindful of what you're playing and how much space is that particular game gonna take on your Xbox Series S. Now this game is big, whether it's your game size or whether it's your game world. As you can see, everything about this game, I just love it. I mean, from the character design to the way the world has been designed, I mean, the flora and fauna, the foliage, the rocks, the buildings, even down to the lighting. Look at that lighting. I mean, it's amazing.
Apparently not.
Particles floating in the air. There's so much happening, and
Of course. Help
even the
yourself.
supporting cast or the supporting characters, I feel they were designed really well.
Do you think Zeus would bless me with an ego like he blessed you, Cassandra?
Wow.
Maybe you could ask him for me.
And here, I mean, like I said, you have character choices. Apart from that, you have dialogue choices like the one that you saw on screen, and that does impact
Finally.
your
So, what
gameplay
are you doing
moving
here?
forward.
Oh, I almost forgot. Marcos is looking for you.
What does that weasel want now?
Don't know.
And the voice acting
He wants you to meet
is
his new
brilliant.
house.
Especially Cassandra, by the way. Alexios, I think, comes off as a little cheesy. If you hear
It's on
Alexios
Shan.
speak later on in
Says
the
wine
game,
will make him
it does
rich.
sound a little cheesy. um,
Since when has he had a vineyard?
I mean, everything that you see on the
Yesterday, I
screen, the expressions on the characters' faces here,
Marcos, who owes me drachmi, is buying vineyards.
and you
You've
have
got
that
money.
accent, love that
don't
accent.
know.
Where can I find Marcus's new, beautiful estate?
You know the statue of
Even the
Zeus
lip
on Mount
movement, as you
Olympus?
can see,
It's
it's
south of
just
that.
so good.
Well,
Well,
I guess I owe
there
Marcus
are a
little
lot of
visit.
cutscenes, and
Thank you for
like I
that.
said, I think mostly these cutscenes are in 30 FPS still. The gameplay is in 60 FPS, and that is smooth as butter. But
I'll go tell Marcos you
if you're
found
not
me.
into RPGs like this, which has a lot of cutscenes, then you may not enjoy Assassin's Creed. In fact, none of the Assassin's Creed games for that. But I love these type of games. I am a big fan of RPGs, especially open world RPGs like this. And Assassin's Creed has come a long way from its first Assassin's Creed game. It has
Right,
definitely
Babit.
evolved.
Tell that one-eyed freak if he ever sends you here again, I'm gonna cut out his other eye and feed it to my bird.
Again, that
I'll see
I mean,
Marcos as soon as I'm
the
dressed.
game design is just absolutely breathtaking. It's beautiful.
I'll have to go.
Look at that
now.
60 FPS.
Rest.
I'll find the camera around a little later on as well. After I change the costume, because you do have an option of selecting from various costumes that are in the game. Now, since this was the Ultimate Edition, I did get a few to start off with. So you have the upgrade screen here, and again, this particular screen, I just love the way it looks. I love the way you actually can upgrade your characters. Valhalla, there was a problem with that, because every time you had to get back to Ravensthorpe if you really want to upgrade your weapons, and that was very tedious. Here, no matter which part of the map you are in, no matter which island you're hopping onto, you can actually upgrade your character anywhere and everywhere you go. You don't have to get back to your hometown. In this place, it's Kefalonia. In Valhalla, that was Ravensthorpe. Excuse me. And I think that was very tedious, and that's why in many ways this felt like a better upgrade system. It just feels more advanced than your Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In this particular section, I would say I would rate Odyssey over Valhalla. I don't know if you feel the same. If you do, then please let me know in the comment section, and I would love to hear your thoughts as well about the whole upgrade system of these various Assassin's Creed games. And even in terms of the options that you have, like the weapons that you can use, and there was this concept of engraving as well. I think that was also a fantastic option here, which was continued from your Origins, and all of that changed in Valhalla, and I kind of missed it. Maybe I was just so used to playing this game. It's not that I haven't played Valhalla that much. In fact, even in Valhalla, I have crossed your 120 hours of gameplay at least, but I still enjoyed this game more than Valhalla for some weird reason. And here I am playing this again on the Xbox Series S, and it feels as fresh as the first time I played it. I mean, that speaks a lot. So yeah, you have many options, and you can check out the details, and it gives you a slight little arrow as well, stating whether it's a better option for you to go along with that particular piece set or not. So it lets you know that. So it's pretty good, mighty good. And here we're going with your classic Assassin's Creed costume, and like I told you, so many weapon options that you have. And I'm just showing you this because if you are playing Valhalla, and if you haven't played Odyssey, then you will feel that this is actually an upgrade in terms of the upgrade mechanism. And I know I'm taking my time with the upgrade mechanism because I feel it's important. It's an important aspect of your character, because these games, they are all about upgrading your character. They are all about how your character evolves. And the more intuitive and the more seamless that experience is, the more you get to appreciate it. And in this case, why I am raving about it is simply because of that seamless experience, that intuitiveness. And when it comes to the skills as well, there is such a lot of ease, navigating this particular screen that you see. In Valhalla, I mean, first of all, the screen is massive. Although, you have much more that, you can actually upgrade there, but it just feels very complicated and it feels very dense, you could say. There's something nice about, the way you go about upgrading your skills even. And then you can take a look at all the quests that have been assigned to you, or you can actually choose the quest that you plan to go on. So here's the map. The map is a huge map, by the way. The world feels bigger. I think it is bigger. I mean, there's so many islands that you hop off from one Greek island to the other. So right now, you start your journey, you start your story from Kefalonia, but there's so many places that you could go to, like Focus, Macedonia. There is Andros, there is Milos, Laconia. So many places that you will get to see later on. And it's a massive world, like I told you. And let's get down quickly and just pan the camera around and also show you, how beautiful this game looks again. So I'm slowly going to pan the camera around and look at that lighting. It's brilliant. I mean, the way they've actually used lighting in this game and all those particles flying in the air, if you can notice that. The reflections, if you see on the water, beautiful. And if you take a look at, the objects in the distance, like the mountain, the statue of Zeus in the background, beautiful. And you can go there, by the way. So if you're seeing something on screen, you can actually travel there. That's the best part about it. It's an absolutely massive open world game, and you can explore every nook and corner of this game. That's beautiful. And look at this scene. I'm just going to walk slowly here and just let you appreciate this as to how beautiful that lighting looks. And 60 FPS, man, it's mind blowing. It's really good. And you will enjoy the 60 FPS and you will appreciate it a lot. Playing this game again in 60 FPS, it changed my way of looking at the game. You can say that's the kind of impact that it has on you. 60 FPS, it is a big change, by the way, and one that you will definitely appreciate. So as you can see, I need to go there. There's a slight little, marker which says 240 meters. I mean, the moment I get closer to it, it keeps reminding you of, how close you are to the destination, your target area that you need to get to. So the mechanism of most of the Assassin's Creed games is very simple. There are loot boxes, there's currency lying around, and you kind of, loot all these various things. There are metals, there are animal skins, there's money. And here, you see again, your character Cassandra in action against a few blokes here.
That's what I get for sparing you?
Very standard Assassin's Creed experience if you've played the Assassin's Creed games again. Especially Origins and Valhalla. Well, the previous Assassin's Creed games like Syndicate and Unity, they felt different because even the controls were very different on them. But this one here, again, the 60 FPS, well, you definitely feel the 60 FPS, especially in battle. When you fight in your game, like the one that you were doing right now, you get to feel your 60 FPS and how it positively impacts your gameplay. So you have your eagle as well, and you can take a look at, your target area where you need to get to, and it actually points out exactly where you need to go. That's another great thing about
what you've gotten yourself into this time, Marcos.
your character, and how easy it is to navigate from one place to the other and find out where exactly is it that you need to go. So that's it for this particular video, folks. Do let me know in the comment section as to what you feel about the 60 FPS update on the Assassin's Creed Odyssey game. I love it, I loved it, and I still love it, and I would highly recommend this game to anyone who wants to get into Assassin's Creed game, because from the timeline perspective also, this is one of the first games from the timeline perspective, so you will enjoy it. Well, that's a wrap for this one. I'll see you again in another one. This is me signing off, and I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.